Hi foodie friends, my name is Jessica Ann with Savory Experiments, and today we are making ricotta stuffed shells. But before we get started, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things to videos so that we show up in your feed. My background is Italian, so stuffed shells are in my blood. They are a delicious comfort food, the kind of thing your grandma makes and now you make, and everyone is going to love them. They are perfect for potlucks, an easy one-dish meal, make-ahead meal, and if you ask my husband, they're even great the next morning cold for breakfast. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is move to the stove so that we can saute up garlic and spinach. And you know the old joke about spinach. This is 4 cups, but it's gonna reduce down to about a half a cup of spinach. This recipe calls for 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, but you know me, we measure garlic with our heart, so I'm using about 4 to 5 very large cloves. Saute this lightly and we're gonna mix it into our ricotta filling. Okay, now we have our spinach. This is my sneaky way of getting vegetables into my kids' diets. If your family does not care for spinach, go ahead and omit this, and you can add just straight garlic to the ricotta cheese, honestly. Okay, add that right on into a whole milk ricotta. Don't skimp on the part skim ricotta. Go whole milk, do yourself a favor. It's a comfort dish, right? Spinach just goes right on in. This is 3 cups of a freshly shredded mozzarella cheese. Go with a part skim, low moisture cheese. This makes sure that it doesn't have a lot of extra liquid in it. That extra liquid will pool in the bottom and make for a soupy shell. No one wants that. And it's the good kind of stringy cheese so that you get a nice cheese pull if you cut it apart. We're gonna use about 2.5 cups of this. Maybe even just 2 cups, I'm eyeballing here. The rest is gonna be reserved to put on the top of those shells. I have a 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, if I can hold on to that slippery little sucker bowl. Okay. 1/2 a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Healthy pinch of coarse kosher salt. We know salt helps bring out the flavor in all of our foods. And 1 egg. This egg came from one of my neighbor's chickens, so it's extra tasty. Okay. And lastly, Italian seasoning. I use about 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons. I'm also gonna eyeball that. My team puts out these lovely teaspoons and then I don't use them. Mix that all together. Make sure the egg gets well incorporated into the cheese or else you're gonna have one eggy shell. This mixture is a vegetarian mixture, clearly, but if you wanted to add in some crumbled Italian sausage, bacon, shredded chicken, even ground beef, this would be the time to do it. Make sure it's cooked and drained so that you don't have any excess grease. The shells are only gonna be in there long enough to really get the cheese to melt. They're not gonna be in there long enough to cook any meat products. So they do need to be fully cooked before you pop them on in. Okay, our filling is ready to go. Let's get some of these dishes out of the way before we start stuffing our shells. Stuffing shells is a fun job. I even get my kids involved in this one because they can get their hands dirty. But also I find when I get my kids involved with making food, they're more prone to eat it in the long run because they're really proud of what they made. But today my kids are in school, so it's just me. I'm gonna start with about 2 cups of a basic marinara sauce. Make it from scratch. You know, I have a great marinara sauce recipe, or grab a jar, which is what I did today because this one for me is a quick and easy meal. I did go ahead and pre-cook these large jumbo shells. Cook them to a minute or 2 less than whatever the box says. You want them to be a little bit less cooked than al dente because they are going to absorb liquid from both the ricotta mixture and the tomato sauce to really infuse with those Italian flavors. Ends up being about a heaping tablespoon in each shell. And it can come out the end. This is a messy dish. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then nestle it right on into that tomato sauce base. I don't cover my shells with sauce. I know some people do, but I like baking them in this little got some spinach in there, this little nest of tomato sauce instead. That way I can see the shells and I can see the melty cheese on top. People can take more or less of the marinara as they like it. Okay, we've got those all filled. A large box of shells usually has a few more. This is 21 shells. There's usually about 30 in a box. That gives you a little wiggle room in case one of them comes broken or they break while they are boiling. Top them off. with aluminum foil. This creates steam, so you're not losing any of that flavor. It'll help the shells stay nice and al dente, but also keep in the heat. We're gonna cook this at 375 for about 20 minutes covered. Okay, let's see what we got. Woo-wee! Perfectly hot, bubbly stuffed shells, but we are not done. We have this other 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. Put that right over top. Oh, to spread that out. That was not an even distribution of cheese. There we go. Okay, put this back in the oven for just 2 to 3 minutes to let that cheese melt, and then we're gonna pop it right back out again. Hoo-wee! That is some beautifully melted cheese. These look absolutely amazing. I can't wait to dig in. But I'm gonna give you an expert tip. Don't dig in right away. Let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Not only are they super hot, but some of the liquid that has come out of the cheese and the marinara sauce will reincorporate back up into those shells if you just give it a hot second to settle and rest. Everybody likes a little bit more freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top. You can also use crushed red pepper or eat them as is. From my kitchen to yours, have a fabulous day.